Hey everyone, it's Nicole again. And so in this module, I want to talk a little bit about other marketing. And so, as I mentioned, these things, events, contests, networking, all that spans whether it's not just a social media thing, it's not just an email thing, it's not just a website thing. It's a overall marketing thing that most businesses and nonprofits, want to have. So, planning, promoting, hosting, events is a good occasion for people to experience your business or nonprofit. It can give people a reason to try you out. And types of events you can think of, maybe an open house, a product launch, a workshop, some kind of sale, so maybe you're like having a Christmas sale, but letting people, having gift wrapping there as well, some kind of taste or trial, a fundraiser, maybe for a local nonprofit that you partner with. So all this to say is don't spend more money marketing the event than you're going to make at the event. Being thoughtful and collaborative can go a long way. And your event doesn't have to cost a lot of money, because what you want to do is you just want to get people to your physical business location, and maybe have a positive experience so that they come back. At the event, collect email addresses. So if you have someone manning the registration table or people are coming in, just have a little kind of sign in up, and then people can get their little, goodie bag, or just, get shown to where the refreshments are, that kind of thing. You can also use something like Eventbrite to incentivize, have RSVPs. So if you're hosting a free event and just want people to RSVP, you can, set up a little thing on Eventbrite and have people sign up, and they get a little email and they get a little reminder that the event's coming up. And what you want to do is communicate ahead of time, multiple times, the date, info, and if it feels like you're communicating too much, you're probably doing it just right, because most people don't see every message that you have going out. What I've done within my personal Facebook is I've created some lists for inviting. So I have a list of, for example, all MDI business people. So anytime I'm doing a business related event here on MDI, like I'm doing a workshop or whatever, I can just go to that list and I can just invite those people versus having to comb through everybody. So you can make lists within your personal Facebook account, and nobody can see them except you, but they can be helpful if you do events a lot and do a lot of inviting. If you have a really big event, you want people to talk about it on social media, you can use an event hashtag. I've seen people do this at their weddings, so if people are taking photos or doing something, there's a custom event hashtag and people just use it, and then everybody at the event can see everything everybody else posted that has used that hashtag. You can encourage people to check in on Facebook and Instagram. So both those things have a little check-in option, and that lets people know that they're at your business, which is a nice visibility thing for you. You can do a live video, early on, maybe for the welcome or something like that, to just, if people can't attend, they can sort of at least virtually attend. And posting photos after can let people understand what they missed, so that the next event, they're more likely to go to it. Your website, what you want to do is, I have an events page on my website, and I try to check it at least quarterly to make sure that the events are up to date. And some people are checking your events page, I'm sure, so just make sure it's up to date. You can use a feature area somewhere on your homepage. So if you have a slideshow on the homepage of your website or something like that, you can make one of those slides be an upcoming event that you have. And consider selling tickets on your website. Now, I talked about the different things in e-commerce in the website module, but you can just have a little payment form, and people can just fill it out and pay for their ticket. And then even if they don't show up, you've made that money. I helped a local nonprofit host a pancake breakfast every year, and we pre-sell tickets online. And not many people pre-buy them, honestly. It's usually around 50 to 70 people that buy them. But about 60% of people actually don't show up. But we have that money without them having to have showed up. So it's like we make a extra, couple $100 without having to do any extra work by just selling them online. And then people decide, I can't go, but it's just $10 and it's fine. You want to post your event to online event calendars. Most newspapers, radio stations, TV stations have chambers of commerce have online event calendars that you can post to. And then you can just kind of make a list of the places you posted it, and then the next time you do it, you won't have to do that again. You can write and submit a press release ideally with a photo. I will say your press release is a lot more likely to run if it has a photo. Most newspapers don't have on-staff photographers anymore, so they're looking for good images, especially people images. So you can send them a photo of last year's event or something like that. And I will say most, especially small town newspapers, want to post what's going on locally in the community, and most people don't bother contacting them about when they have something going on. So feel free to do that. And you can consider, like I said, platforms like Meetup or Eventbrite are specifically social networks for events. So you can list your event there and have more people see it because people who are on these websites are looking at events. And consider having postcards, flyers, and kind of visual things in real life. I will say I think there's something to be said for handing someone something, even in the digital age. And going to speaking engagements to, and talking about the event, especially if it's a big event, that might be more worthwhile. And considering personal invitations of people that you think should be there. And there's nothing wrong with you picking out a couple of people you definitely want to be there and asking them to come and saying that you'd really like them there. That can make them feel special. Certainly don't feel the need to do that with everybody, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. So here's an event we have here in Bar Harbor every year, which is called Taste of Bar Harbor. And as you see, the price is variable between $15 and $85. I think that depends how many events you're going to. And what this site allows you to do is sell tickets like right on the Eventbrite website. The thing with Eventbrite, I will say, is they take 6% of the purchase. So I only say this because this happened to me. I set up an Eventbrite thing for a workshop, and I saw that, I think I charged $25. So I kept seeing like, you had someone sign up for $23. So I'm like, okay, they took their fee out. We're good. But then after the event, I got another bill additionally. And I was really confused because I thought they had taken out their money. But they take a processing fee and then an event fee. So I just want to warn you that, they take a percentage. So if you're charging money for it, you will not get the full amount of money. Not that you would anyway, because most credit card processing is around, 2.9%. But I find 6% is pretty high, but it is really easy to set up using Eventbrite. They give you an embed code, so you can just take the ticket and you can just copy and paste it right onto your website too. So just know that is a resource if you're doing events. And then here's an event hashtag in progress. WCUS is a WordCamp US conference that people are at. So if you're at a really large conference, there's no way you can, for example, go to all the talks that are going on. So what you can do is follow the conference feed and see what's going on from different people who are also at the conference watching things maybe in different rooms than you are. Contests are great to generate some excitement. People like a deal. They like free stuff. And a contest can maybe get someone who's on the fence or past customers re-engaged. And it gives people a reason to share your business on social media, right? And if it's something that's common to you, like we saw in the email module, the China Dyna, $25 probably isn't that much to them, but people got excited about it. And, just because it isn't of inherently large value to you doesn't mean other people can't get excited about it. So you want to send your email list the info about the contest, especially if you have an online submission form. I think that's really nice, whatever kind of contest you're running, to have some kind of way for people to submit online rather than making someone print something out and fill it in. Most people don't have printers at their house anymore, so they have to do it at work and it's a little awkward anyway. So consider an online submission form of some sort. And announcing, the winners to your email list will give people more enthusiasm about your next contest because they see that people actually win them. You can run contests on social media. I think I showed you in the social media section an example of an Instagram contest where people use a certain hashtag to enter the contest. But you can also run contests on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and other places. I will say Facebook has lots of rules about contests, way more than you'd think, like multiple pages printed out of rules. So to make your life easier and to make your contest compliant, use a Facebook contest app. And I think the one I use is called Short Stack, like the pancakes are in a little short stack. And it's about $20 a month. since you're not running the contest forever, you can just pay the $20 for the month you're running the contest and then just cancel it. So just my 2 cents there. Make sure the terms and conditions and all that are all on your website. You'll notice that most large companies, when they do a contest, are like, terms and conditions may apply. See our website for details. But having the same things on your website that you have everywhere, that you've communicated other places, just makes it seem consistent because people can find it. And do announce the winners on your website too, for the same reason that, oh, people actually win this contest. Cool. There's also contest directories online. I haven't done a ton of stuff with, if your contest isn't only local, like if you're doing some kind of national type contest or something like that, it may be worth trying these out. I just know that they exist, so I thought I'd throw that out there. And if you're giving away something from a particular vendor, you can ask them to cross-post to their channel. So like, let's say you're doing a giveaway of Legos, you could ask, there's no reason not to ask Lego if they mind cross-promoting your contest for you. They might say yes, you never know. And in real life, right, you want to have some kind of physical display at your business about the contest. So there's nothing worse than like you put it everywhere online and that person that's been coming into your business for years had no idea you were doing it. And remember that the more effort you make people go through, the bigger the prize has to be. So, here's Lego cross-promoting a contest of a little girl who won a design competition. Here's an Instagram contest going on to win the t-shirt. And it tells you exactly how to enter within the image. So that's nice. It's easy. And then, I thought I'd look for a video contest. This is for a couple of $1,000s, I think, worth of stuff. So these people are making these 4 and 5 minute videos that you see that they've clearly edited because they've added text to them and all that stuff. So if you're going to ask people to make, $4,000, I see. So if you're going to ask people to like go through the effort of editing video or something, you got to give them a large enough prize that it's worthwhile. The less you make people do in terms of effort, the lower the prize amount can be and the more entries that you're going to get. Networking is something we all have to do. And most people don't regularly and actively engage their networks because those, like I said in the LinkedIn portion of what I was talking about on social media, it's the like friends of friends that can be really powerful in terms of, helping you find things that are in becoming customers. But it has to feel genuine, It doesn't mean you can't have systems for networking, but it has to feel like you genuinely want to connect with people or else they're going to sense that you're not genuine and it's not going to go well. I have what's called a CRM, a customer relationship management software that reminds me daily to email 3 to 4 people. And it'll say, hey, you should email Linda. You usually talk to her every 30 days and you haven't emailed her in 45 days. And what that allows me to do is like kind of keep in mind all these people that I'm trying to stay in touch with. And what I do when I send out that email in the morning is I just say like, hey, I was thinking of you, which is true because I saw their name in my CRM, and I send them maybe a link or something that they might get a kick out of. If I was smart, I'd note things like if it was their birthday or something like that. But and the CRM does do that. But again, just like the segmentation with the email, the more information that you put in, the more different things you can do with it. If you're using social media, asking people to share things, if you do it for everything you post, that's really annoying. But if you pick things and say, hey, I'd really like it if you guys shared this, I think people will listen if you only ask once in a while and not all the time. And what I also do is I set a time once a month and I find new Twitter followers. So like I'll go and I'll find other people that I want to follow on Twitter and add them or add new people to my LinkedIn or something like that. So I try to find new people that I want to connect with on social media, and I have a set time that I do that every month to make myself do it. Having some kind of way that people can network with each other on your website, whether it's having a commenting section on your blog or having forums, lets people build relationships with each other, and it gives them, a place to go on your site, and have that positive relationship be associated with you. And then link to social networks you use from your website that lets visitors browse. And, a way to network with other people, which I talked about earlier when I talked about link building in the website part, is leaving comments on blogs and websites, YouTube channels, that you admire to establish rapport with those people. And websites like Alignable and Upwork can also introduce you to new people work-wise. So LinkedIn is a place to connect with people that you've done work with, but there's these online sort of work portals that you can search for if you're looking for a video editor, or if you're looking for, a graphic designer, that kind of thing. You can meet those new people work-wise on sites like that. And then in real life, make yourself go to real life events like business after hours at least once a month. I know I'm making myself sound like a completely socially awkward person. I'm kind of a homebody and I'm kind of an introvert, which I think surprises most people. But sometimes people seeing you is really valuable. And what I like to do, just as a little personal thing, is I make a game of it. Like, I have to talk to 5 people in blue shirts and then I'm allowed to leave. So do whatever it is you have to do, but some of the networking you do have to do in person. Sorry. So like I said, a website forum can be a way that you allow people to network onto your site and can therefore network with people who are using your website. And this is the CRM I was talking about. Apparently, I only last emailed my brother-in-law 2 months ago, but we usually talk every 36 days. So that just gives me people that I should be talking to, and I can just send them a quick email and kind of re-engage them. So reputation management. So this is the idea of keeping track of what people are saying about you online and off. So what you want to do is monitor what they're saying, right? Use this reputation, collect online reviews and, use and do some customer service online. So one thing I recommend most people do is set up Google Alerts for their name and their business name. So, you just go to google.com/alerts and you can put in a search query and you can set it to email you as it happens or once a day, and it'll show you. So what I did is, if I just put breaking even, and I get a lot of financial stuff, so I just put breaking even Bar Harbor, and that's all relevant stuff. You may have to refine it over time. So apparently my namesake was a really great lacrosse player for a few years in college. So every time I get a Google alert, it was a bunch of lacrosse scores, and I'll play lacrosse. So what I did is I changed my Google alert from Nicole Willett to Nicole Willett minus lacrosse. And now I don't get her lacrosse scores anymore, but I hope she's still doing well. But you can actually exclude certain terms of phrases. Maybe there's another business with your same name that's in Georgia or something like that. You can exclude that. So you may have to refine over time a little bit to get relevant results. As I mentioned in the social media part, Google treats you better when you have 5 or more reviews on Google. So there's nothing wrong with asking your friends, in particular those who already have Google accounts, who already have Gmail addresses, to leave you a review. It doesn't cost them anything it doesn't take them a long time, and it does a lot of things for you to make you more visible. You want to share links to review websites. So if you on social media, so what we do with our clients is, a lot of them are restaurants that live and die by TripAdvisor or Yelp, or there's lots of them. So what we do is we share periodically to all their social media channels. Hey, thanks to everyone who's left a review. If you want to leave, help us out online, here's a link to leave us a review. We don't ask people for positive reviews, but it's sort of implied if you are following these people on social media, you probably like them. So asking for reviews once in a while does get you reviews. Add links to your invoices so people can leave you, reviews there. And you can incentivize it if you want. You don't want to say positive reviews get free stuff, but you want to, you can say, hey, every 100 reviews we get, we're going to do a random drawing of everyone and somebody will win a gift certificate or something like that. I don't think you necessarily need to do that, by the way. And then, online customer service, right? What you want to do is not just have a plan for dealing with the marketing, but also potential and current customer communication. So, email message after a transaction happens. So someone books on your website, they should get some kind of welcome email, and maybe they get a little, hey, leave us a review, a couple of days later. Check reviews and regularly respond. You can claim your business on TripAdvisor, on all the search engines, Google, Bing, Yahoo, Yelp. I'm trying to think of the other ones. But once you claim your business, you will get an email notification when someone leaves your review, and then you can take the time to respond to it. And then make sure your online information is up to date in all places, your hours, your products, that kind of thing, because it's really hard when stuff is inconsistent because then people don't know what to trust. So just take a minute, if your hours change seasonally, just, take a couple of minutes, set a little time in your calendar to review and make sure your listings are still correct. I want to talk a little bit about evaluating an opportunity. And by that, I mean picking out a scam. So one scam that you may get a fair bit is that your website needs help. And it'll be very vague. It'll just say, hey, I was noticing you could be doing better on Google, or that your website was really slow on my mobile phone. But it won't mention any specific pages. It won't mention anything like that. And because they're not mentioning anything specific, it means they didn't actually look at it. And you can easily test anything they say is wrong with your website independently. You can test the load time of your website. So if they say your website's loading slow, you can check that. You can check your mobile friendliness of your site. You can check your Google ranking if it says, oh, your Google ranking is low. Now, most people don't ask about accessibility, but I really think that it's nice to make your site accessible to as many people as possible. So you should check that out. So you can actually independently verify what they're saying rather than just believing them. Scam number 2 is you should buy our ads. So Yelp is really terrible about this, actually. They told somebody that we know, they're in Belfast, which is a similar sized community to Fort Kent, about 4,000 or 5,000 people. And they said 35,000 people searched for your service last month in your geographic area. And that doesn't make any sense, right? So that doesn't pass the sniff test. But also you can go to Google Trends and you can look at how many people in the United States search something, and kind of independently verify if what they're saying is true. And if you really want to mess with them a little bit or just are curious, you can ask them for references. Hey, I think I could really use your ad services. Can you give me some examples of companies similar to mine who've used you? And if they can't name anybody, then they probably haven't been very successful at selling ads. Another thing you'll see is paid membership websites that promise you to send a lot of traffic to your site or whatever. You can actually look up website traffic to some of the larger websites online. And you can ask them specifically about how they track their success. Will you get a report that has clicks and impressions? Can you change out your details easily? And most of the time, these people haven't thought through, they're just trying to sell you an ad. So here's a similar web thing. So if someone's trying to sell you a Yellow Pages ad, you can actually see how much traffic Yellow Pages gets. And the fact that it's going down a bit should tell you something. But I just wanted to give you an idea of, the kinds of things, that people, you can actually look at some of the larger websites and see what their traffic breakdown is like. This isn't available for all websites, but it is for larger websites. And then this is free. In other words, knowledge is power, and you can independently verify most things that people say about your website. And if you're not sure, just have your web person look at it or a couple of web people, and they'll tell you if they think it's a scam. And if you are really tempted, commit to a very short trial period, as free or as cheap as you can get it. That's what I would recommend. This next section, which I'm going to stop here and do separately, is when to pay and when to do it yourself. These are how I evaluate whether people should do things for themselves or whether they should pay someone like me to do it. And I'll be really honest with you, and I promise I won't tell you to pay for everything. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next module.